Lots of people ask me this question: what do I invest my funds in? Or how do I invest my funds? Or how do I maximize my returns? Or how do I ensure that my capital or the money that I'm going to invest in is not lost? And these are more, of course, I get these questions majorly from young people, and I would want to speak to most of all these in today's session. Okay, so what are the investment types that we have? In Nigeria, we have several, investment instruments that you can actually avail yourself the opportunity of. So this time around, I'm not going to go technical. I'm not going to, use the normal conventions that, if you probably Google, you'll get. So I'll try and simplify it and make it easier for you to understand so that you would know what you're investing in and why you need to invest in this. Like I said, you also need to study the market. You need to read. You need to expand your knowledge. And in the previous class, when I was speaking about financial literacy, you need to get resources that would help improve your financial knowledge, because that is the only way, I repeat, the only way you can actually meet your financial goals. So different asset class types that we have, we have the fixed instruments types. For the fixed instruments, we have the types of bond. These fall under the fixed instruments. You have, of course, the equity. This is also another type of asset class. Of course, we have the capital or the capital derivatives. You have the money funds and the likes. Of course, not forgetting you have cryptocurrency, and you have some fund type, agriculture, real estate, and the like. So different major asset class that we have. But one thing you need to understand, and I think maybe I should explain it here a bit, the type of investments always have an underlying asset. What do I mean by an underlying asset? Now, you have a fund that you're investing in. Now, that fund that you're investing in is being driven by something that guarantees a return. A very good example. Now, let me give you examples of the investment that you have. For instance, stocks. What are stock? Or what are shares? Stock, another word for stock, are actually shares. What is it? What do you mean by stock or shares? It's when you talk about stock or shares, it simply means it's a unit holding, or it's part ownership in a company. Now, a company goes to the stock exchange and they list. They are telling you that come and be a part owner of my company. However, for you to be a part owner, I'm selling the smallest units of ownership at maybe 100 naira per unit. I don't know if you get. Now, they value the company and they've seen that this company is probably 10 or 300 million naira. And they have broken and said a unit is 3 naira. And a unit being 3 naira is because we have only about, let's say 100,000, about 1 million units available. 100 million units of shares available. So, of course, for a 300 million worth of valued company, 1 unit of the share is 3 naira. That means that when you buy 1 unit, you own 3 naira worth of the company. Now, if the company is doing better, you get paid for that. Now, you ask, why is it that companies actually list, or why do they, sell part of their ownership to you? They probably do that to raise capital, to expand and to scale, or to improve their operations, or to build new branches. Different reasons why. And, because of that, when they go to the stock market and they sell ownership of their company to the public, you buying ownership, they take that funds and your fund and they invest it. And the whole idea is that when they invest the funds into whatever plans that they have, they will make profits. Now, when they make profits, the valuation of their company increases. And of course, when the valuation of their company increases, your own ownership stock too also increases. And then sometimes, or most times, most companies are actually mandated to pay dividend at the end of the financial year. They say, okay, we made 100 million as profits. Out of this 100 million, we are taking 50 million to pay our shareholders. This is what we call dividend. Now, they will distribute that 50 million based on your holdings. So let's assume that you own 100,000 worth of, funds, and they have decided that 50 million across the 100 million customers that we have would amount to maybe 5 naira per unit. So you that have about 100,000 units, you might find yourself going home with a cool 500,000 naira as dividend. This is not withstanding the fact that your initial share price or your initial capital is still there. because you probably bought the shares. I'm just giving you a bit of an idea how the stock market works. So it's something that you can actually explore as an investment opportunity. Okay, so like I said, the recap: the stock market or the stock or the share gives you part ownership of a company, and the company is the underlying asset. So as the company is profitable, your share value is increasing and is becoming more profitable. Okay, so another, of course, important investment instrument is the bond, and the bond, we say, is one of the safest. It's a low risk asset class, and the reason being that the bond is simply a loan a government or a company takes to pay back with an interest. So a government probably needs money to finance an investment or finance a capital project. They come and issue a bond to the public. Say, okay, we want to raise 500 million naira. Now we are issuing a 500 million bond, and we are pegging it as maybe 10% return based on the current, market realities. We are saying 10%. We are asking you to give us 500 million, and then we'll give you 10% of that 500 million as a return, as your interest, or as your income that you earn. Now, because why I said it's a very, very guaranteed means of assets is because governments exist, and as long as the government exists, that fund is guaranteed. So your money is guaranteed. So that is, of course, if you are a kind of investor that you are what I'll call a conservative, or you're a conservative investor, you might want to dabble more into bonds, because it's a bit safer than that. Another very important asset class is funds, the mutual funds, or the funds here, money funds. So what this basically means is we pool funds together. Fund managers or asset managers, they pool funds together, they get funds from different people, and then they invest in different assets. So a fund has several assets as the underlying assets. So a fund might probably invest in, bond. They might also invest in equities or stock. They might also invest in, ETFs, or they might also invest in real estate. So a mutual fund is not, does not have just one fund underlying assets, and this is under the purview of the fund manager. So they look for the best investment opportunities, and they, of course, invest for you. I advise that when you want to purchase a fund, you need to check the history of the fund manager. You need to check the overall performance of that fund. The beauty of fund money mutual fund is that it's liquid. You can actually recover your money within a short time. It's a short term, short to long term, as against the bond, which is a longer term, investment. So you can actually recover your money quickly, from the mutual fund. So, but the returns is at the discretion of the fund manager, and how very, very financially savvy they are in helping you grow that fund. Another very important investment type is the treasury bills. And unlike the bond, the treasury bills are actually government securities, but it's for a shorter term. So still the same principle. The government says, okay, I'm raising the treasury bills, either a T-bills for 90 days or 180 days, or 120 days, 360 days. And they say, okay, fine, we need your funds. Give me your money, and I will give you, your money back with interest. However, I'm going to pay you a discounted interest, which is, so the difference between a discounted interest and other interest is that you pay the discounted interest upfront, but then when your T-bills has matured, then they pay you back your capital or the total funds available. So it's also a very low risk, and it's also a short to mid-term investment type. So your money is not tied for so long, and you can easily recoup your money back. Unlike the bond, which of course is your money is tied for a very, very long time. So if you are a bit skeptical about keeping your funds, tied in your money tied somewhere for a very long time, you might probably explore the T-bills option, or the treasury bills as we call it. Another important investment of recent is cryptocurrency. Yes, and it's a very, very interesting as investment type and asset type. SEC has actually classified crypto. SEC is Securities and Exchange Commission is one of the regulatory bodies in Nigeria that regulates assets. So all these type of assets that I've mentioned, it is within their purview to regulate that. And they've also classified cryptocurrency as one of the assets, securitized assets. So but the only difference is that it's a very, very high risk, highly volatile, investment type. And if you are not aggressive, or let me use Nigerian parlance as the pidgin parlance, if you don't have liver, please do not invest in crypto, because at the end of the day, if you lose your capital, it might be a bit worrisome. So even if you must, I would advise that you invest a certain amount of your funds in crypto, because when you get returns, you actually get very, very good returns from it. So and you can make money from crypto either through owning the assets and watching your crypto assets, your crypto currency appreciate, or you can own it by trading on it. Different platforms allows you to trade on it, or you can actually get returns from what's it called? I think managing, giving out loans, crypto loans or the likes. There are lots of investment apps that allows you to do that. So cryptocurrency is also a very important investment type. Another investment type that I need to speak to is real estate. So for the real estate, it's a kind of fund. However, real estate are the underlying assets. The implication is they take your money and they probably have a real estate project that they want to do. So they take your money and then they give you ownership of a unit ownership of that building or real estate. Now you make a rental income from it, or probably when they sell the building and they terminate the fund. So for every rent, you make income from it, and the income is of course shared based on your unit holdings, similar to the mutual fund type, but the underlying asset of course is the real estate itself, and the income earned is called rental income. Same way, you also have agricultural-backed assets, where the underlying assets, of course, are the produce from the farm. So they want to it's farming season. They want to invest. They bring a huge fund. They call for investors. You pull your funds together and you give it to the farmer. He invests, and then at the end of the day, when the planting cycle is over, maybe 3 months, 6 months, he sells the produce, the capital, and the returns that is being made, the income or the profits made is shared across every investor. That, of course, is an investment type. I know there was some time that we had lots of agricultural-backed assets or investments that was very, very prevalent in Nigeria. So probably check out the performance of such funds for a while, and I would advise that you are careful when investing, because those kind of assets are a bit risky, and that's because nature is unpredictable, and most times you might lose your whole produce and then you won't have any returns from it. And another very, very important investment type is forex. Forex simply means trading on currency. So you can either trade on naira or trade on dollar, cross currency. So currency, the same way you also trade on crypto currencies, you can also do so. You monitor the rise or the fall of dollar or naira or euro. So the underlying asset, of course, is the currency itself and its behavior over time. And that's, of course, an investment type. Another very funny but not really mentioned investment type is art. But this you see for the bougie or for the HNIs, the high net worth individuals. They kind of buy or invest in artworks which over the years will appreciate, and then when they sell, they make returns from it. So all these are the investment types that you can either put your portfolio funds in. And one key thing that you need to understand is, when you're deciding on which investments you need to add to your portfolio. Now, I've not spoken about portfolio, but portfolio simply means your basket of funds. It's your seed. It's where all your money that you're investing is. So every savings that you have, you dump and then it creates an investment portfolio, and then you invest that money, and then your money keeps compounding and compounding and increasing, and your portfolio increases. And your portfolio can be made up of different assets. You can have your portfolio that includes both your equities, that's your stocks, your bonds, your cryptocurrency, your mutual funds, your arts, your forex, your T-bills, several kind of assets. And all these assets, of course, would be based on your risk appetite, your risk criteria, and of course on how quickly you want the funds, or how liquid. What I mean by how liquid is how quickly your money can be converted to cash. How quickly your investments can be converted to cash. So all these things are what you need to have at the back of your mind. I've tried so hard to simplify and to explain using normal parlance, that everyday talk or everyday language, so that it's not, I try so hard to minimize technical words. So please, if you are not clear on any, you can drop a comment to the comment section, and of course I'll be very, very happy to take you through and still explain, break it down further. So these are the asset investment types that we have, and I want to advise you that when you want to build your portfolio or start creating your investment portfolio, you need to look at these investment types and look at the one that best fits your individual your personality, and best fits your financial goal, your financial plan. And I remain Onyebuchi, your financial data analyst. I'm here to, of course, take you through on the journey through financial freedom. Please, like I said, drop your comments on the comment section, your feedback, your questions, and when I go through it, I'm going to attend to it. And of course, I would incorporate whatever feedback I get in the next or subsequent classes. And please do not also forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And you subscribe because the next video you get a notification when you turn on your notification. And please also share for those that you think need this information. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day.